All right. Good morning or almost afternoon, everybody. We'll get started here because I got a flight to catch, and I know somebody else said their Southwest alerts on, so we'll keep you on time. We'll get out of here on time, I promise, because I don't want to miss my flight. My wife has ordered me to come home and help out around the house. So we're excited to be here today. My name is James Ruttelsheimer, and I am a longtime classroom teacher, and I recently transitioned to work for the nonprofit Foundation for Economic Education. So what I do is I create personal finance and economics curriculum for 13,000 teachers that are signed up for our website. And I do PDs and I get to travel and do presentations after retiring as a longtime economics, personal finance, high school teacher, and advanced placement. Hey, come on in.
Guys, and I am Brooke Martinez. I actually am currently a high school teacher. I teach an alternative education space, and the other side of our building is adult ed. And so we have financial literacy programs at both locations. I teach financial literacy, business marketing classes. I've been doing that for 17 years, been in alternative education for 12 years, and it's the best. How I got roped in with this is on the side, I create some curriculum, and so I'm turning some of their presentations into Nearpods, which I'll show you guys in a little bit. Has anybody used Nearpods at all in their class? Okay, so you'll see what they look like, and hopefully you guys will join the Nearpod team.
All right. And just a quick disclaimer that we have to do for presentations. We're not licensed financial advisors, even though I love personal finance and I study it all the time. I'm not licensed officially to give advice. So that can be secured through a vetted fiduciary advisor. At a minimum, your financial advisor should be a CFP, certified financial planner. All right. So what we've got is at teachers.fee.org. You're going to want to sign up for this because we're a nonprofit. We never charge for anything. Everything is 100% free. So if you go to teachers.fee.org or just scan that code that I have there, you'll find all kinds of cool resources for your classroom to work with your students of all ages. Maybe not so, is anyone elementary? Okay, it might be a little low for that, but adults this would be great for. So we have this financial freedom course. We've got inquiry lessons. We've got, you can train on your own. You can look at some modules. And again, that's teachers.fee.org. You can scan that, the thing on your table as well. You can scan that. One of our other things that we have is called economic. Oh, this is your slide, Brooke. Sorry. No. So this is our favorite, or one of my favorite series is it's a slide deck you can use with your students. It has activities, videos. You learn about a market economy and entrepreneurship and business education by studying places that like Buc-ee's gas station. What's the story behind that? Costco, name, image, and likeness college athletes monetizing their money, economics of Apple.
Mhm. And I use this in several of my courses. I use it in my financial literacy course as well as a sports and entertainment marketing class, consumer economics. It's really nice because every week we come out with a brand new lesson. For example, today is Wednesday. So today we came out with the economics of Nintendo. So that's what my students are actually doing with the sub right now through an Nearpod. Monday they were doing the economics of Taylor Swift and her impact on the NFL. And the other one I just created yesterday was on the economics of Air Jordans. I'm a big Michael Jordan girl. And so we did that as well. So it's really fun and relevant topics. I told you guys earlier, I'm taking all of the personal finance. We have about 50 presentations ready to go in Google Slides. And now it's my job that I just came on board. So I'm going to be turning them into Nearpods. So you can kind of see on the screen here. If you've never used Nearpod, it's a very interactive tool. And I was actually going to show this a little bit bigger. Go over. There it is. Okay. So with Nearpod, essentially, you can get the link from us. You can have a basic account where you can use that for free with your students. Or if you decided to customize it, because all of our resources are customizable, but just for the Nearpod portion, if you wanted to customize it through Google Slides, you would need to have a gold or higher account. And so you can do that. But if you just want the free version, I'm not here to promote Nearpod necessarily, but it's just a good tool. You can just use that for free with your students. It's very interactive. You can see instead of just a presentation, then I can also do like matching stuff for vocab words, great with ELL also. And then we have different collab boards, videos, poll questions. Along with the videos, kind of if anybody's used Edpuzzle before, you can stop the video with different questions. So yeah, tons and tons of different types of interactive tools within there.
Okay, so like this will have questions like, what do you start out with the thing like discussion questions. These are also printed out for, there's a student worksheet as well that comes with this. What do you know about name, image, likeness? How does the principle of voluntary exchange in a market economy? So you're learning about how an economy works, a market economy. And then we have so to find our products, you just on teachers.feed.org, you would just go to products at the top and then come and circle financial freedom lessons in personal finance. With this financial freedom course, we've got lots of inquiry lessons where it starts with questions like, will I ever be able to retire? What does a credit score even mean? As soon as work through these modules, and it's based on these stages of compelling question like this. We have 8 of these online. And you can assign these can go, you can walk through it with your students. You can have them do it for homework. I mean, it goes on. They're quite detailed, and you can edit, customize the documents. How do taxes affect your life? Will you ever be able to buy a home? And we have 8 of those. All right, now one of the most exciting offering is our free certification in personal finance called the FIT test, Financial Intelligence Teacher Certification. So this is a free course based on national standards. It's a test when ready process. If you know your stuff, you say, oh, I'm going to go in and I'm going to take this test right now. Or you can use our free online textbook, our slide decks, practice quizzes, vocab to study your content. Because we see a ton of teachers say like, oh, now I got to teach personal finance. And I didn't study this in college like most people didn't, right? There's not even a personal finance major. So we see that all the time that teachers want this training. And if you pass the test, you'll get a digital badge. We'll send you a certificate, put it on your resume, send it to your boss, your school board, whatever. And, shows your mastery of your profession. So step 1, it's a 60 minute, 80 question test. And if you get 80%, you will receive a passing score. Now you can't, if you do want to retake the test, it is cost $20, but since you're at an in-person PD, if you have a bad day your first time, send me an email, say, hey James, I just, didn't go so well the first time, but I'm going to get it this next time and I'll reset it so you can test it 2 times for free, because we just don't want teachers taking the test 50 times and just trying to game the system. So, and we also partnered with something called Budget Challenge, an online simulation you can use with your students. If you want to do the FIT capability certificate, you put in about 20 minutes a week playing this simulation for 10 weeks. Once you finish that, you automatically are certified. You don't even have to take the test. And you can get a free Budget Challenge licenses for 1 year for your students. That is a paid program, but they'll give it to a year. So basically you just got to do 10 weeks. And once a week, you go on for like 15, 20 minutes. So you do this online simulation. It's really good. So to review, the FIT certification multiple choice test, 80 questions in 60 minutes. And that is timed. Passing score is 80%. This simulation is a 10-week simulation, FIT capability. You get, that is no cost, and that will go for 10 weeks. First attempt is free. All attempts are free for the FIT capability, and you get those free licenses for a year for your students. It's a pretty cool online simulation. Like hundreds, as many as you have. Yeah, so you just say, this is what I got, and then you put in how many licenses you need. And again, you get a digital certificate as well. So we encourage you to, do these things. We've had hundreds of teachers do this. So you'll see like the 6 major topics of the standards. You have earning income, spending, saving. So each of these topics has like a topic summary, a glossary, key concepts, videos, textbook chapters, and practice quizzes. And here's an example of a module one on taxes. And you go through and slide through that. And oh, we got a procrastinator in the house. I can't talk though, because yeah. Okay. So Wesley, I just want to talk about why it's so important for people to understand personal finance. And it's such an essential skill for adults to have. Anyone should be learning this at any age. The world's changing, right? From when I grew up, that was a long time ago. I'm a lot older than Brooke over here. And student loans hit $1.7 trillion. New risky assets like, crypto meme coins and easy access to trading and gambling right on people's phones. Complexity of financial assets. There's all kinds of these acronyms. What's an EFT? What's a Roth IRA? 401ks, 403bs, and so on. And it used to be where you had a defined benefit. So you'd work, you'd get paid for a pension, right? But now most jobs are not like that. You need to contribute on your own, defined contribution, not defined benefit. All right, I'm going to ask for some quick participation if you have your cell phone on. If you could scan that code or go to slido.com on your laptop and type in those numbers. And did you take a personal finance course in high school? That's a no for me. Oh, we have a Now 27 states require this for high school graduation. Kentucky was just passed. So those states are in blue are the states that require it. Where is Texas? Yeah. No, Texas does not have a requirement.
We're number one in the nation for bankruptcy. Oh, wow. That's why our government decided, you know what, we need college teach this. So we were first, when I started teaching 17 years ago, there was 5 states that required it, and now we're up to 20. Trying to get all of it.
Sure, Wyoming doesn't require it because definitely required in our local district.
Yeah, certain schools and districts will require it, but not all statewide. But we're working.
Our state wasn't working there and it is required.
Okay. One study that shows why we need financial education is there was a scholar came up with 3 questions, and you'll never guess like how many people in the US get these wrong. It's pretty shocking. So we're going to do that real quick on your Slido. Again, just scan your phone, or if you have it up, it should work. And your first question is, suppose you had $100 in a savings account, interest rate was 2% per year. After 5 years, how much would you have in the account if you left your money to grow? More than 102? Exactly 102, less than 102, or don't know. All right, so let's check your answers. Hey, look at that. We got a great audience here, 100%. You're going to have to go home if you didn't get that right. So you can stay now. Okay, you got your nose. Okay, imagine the interest rate on your savings account was 1% per year and inflation was 2%. After 1 year, you would be able to buy more than today, exactly the same, or less than today, or don't know. You're earning 1%. Inflation is going up faster than what you're earning in interest. And answer is less than today. All right. Come on. The pressure's on. We all got to get this last one right. We have one more question. Do you think the following statement is true or false? Buying a single company stock usually provides a safer return than a stock mutual fund where you own lots of companies. True, false, don't know, or refuse to answer. And answer is that is false. Individual companies tend to be a lot riskier, but you guys did way better than the public. You got 2 out of 3 right for sure. Only 30% of respondents are able to answer all 3 questions correctly. Right? Showing that need for some serious financial education. Only 41% of Americans got that last question right, the diversification. Only half know about inflation. Right. And that's one of the things we've seen in the economy. Students need to understand prices have been rising a lot. So if your income isn't keeping up. And what do people know the least about? Investing, insurance, and risks. Some of those most important things people need to know. I'm just going to skip this for now. And there's actually a financial literacy gender gap in each topic too. I know I'm the only male in here, but males are scoring better than females for whatever reason on tests as well. And of course, many females are heading households now and staying single longer. So it's so more important that they get that financial education. And if you know finances, whether you're teaching a 50-year-old or a 15-year-old, you're more likely to cope with financial shocks, more likely to save for retirement, more likely to save, less likely to be debt constrained. And as the famous investor Warren Buffett said, the best investment you can make is in yourself, in your own financial education. And that's like one of the things, your skills, abilities, and financial education. All right. So what we want to do now, we talked about the FIT program, showed you some of our resources. We're going to do one of our popular lessons right now. We'll walk you through that. So Brooke, could you kindly hand out the Compounding Magic scavenger hunt cards? All right. This is Compounding Magic, unlocking the exponential power of compounding interest. And this is one of the national standards in K through 12 education, which, would be similar. I don't know if there's adult basic standards, but these things that people need to know. Benefits of compounding for wealth are great. You invest regularly over long periods of time. Okay, so you start out this lesson with a little lecture here that will provide you with these slides on our website. Would you rather get $1 million today or get a penny that doubles every 30 days? Every day for 30 days. Which one would you take? Yeah, forever. I mean, the penny stops doubling after 30 days. The penny doubles for 30 days, and then you get to keep that amount. All right, who's taking the penny doubling? No, yeah, you don't have to do that. If you double a penny every day, how much will you have? Yeah, well, I'll tell you the answer. You don't have to calculate. Just kick back and watch. Day 15, $163. Day 30, $5.3 million. Okay, so this lesson shows the incredible potential if you invest for a long time and you earn interest and you save, how your money can grow If you make 10%, the stock market has averaged 10% for over 100 years. Your money doubles every 7 years. Now, simple interest is just based on that fixed percentage. You put in 10,000. If you made 10%, you earn $1,000 a year. Okay. It's very predictable. But the amazing thing about compounding interest, what Einstein supposedly called the eighth wonder of the world, is every year you're making 10% of a bigger chunk of money. So year one, if you're saving $1,000 a year, every year you're making 10% of a bigger chunk of money. So your interest earned continues to grow. And with compounding interest, after 10 years, you had $15,000 as opposed to the last one, which was just 10,000. Yes, that's your principal. Okay. Now, it's hard to get people to invest because people think of the benefits of people will like things better today. So if someone owes you a $100, would you rather get 100 today or get 100 a year from now? You want the money now, right? Because you can spend it. It's more valuable now than a year from now with no interest. And that's one reason banks pay interest. If you're saving money, you're going to get more later. Now, you owe somebody $100 with no interest. What would you do? Would you rather get that money now, or I'd pay someone a year from now? I could take that $100, invest it, and then pay back later. So people like the benefits now rather than later. So you have to get students to think long term.
Yesterday about Anthony Edwards, NBA player. He wanted to pay his child support all 18 years in advance instead of doing the monthly. And some people are speculating because of how, yes, the value of money.
They allow.
I don't think she's gonna do that.
Yeah. Anyway, not a good role model there. Okay. People like benefits now rather than later. People prefer the cost later rather than now. So that's one reason saving is difficult, right? But there's a big reward for savings. You can stack that compounding interest. For example, if someone saved 4,000 a year between 16 and 20, earn that 10% return in the market, that's been the long-term average, you'd have $1 million at age 65, just stopping at 20. So you saved $20,000. So with compounding, the choice is not between one car now and one car later. So let's say you want to buy a car, or you could save that money and invest it. So if you save the money as opposed to buying a car and invested that 8% in, if you didn't buy the car, you could afford 2 cars in 9 years with an 8% return. Your money is going to double every 9 years. You could buy a car today, or if you saved and invest in 18 years, you could have 4 cars. You could buy a car today or save and invest that money, 8% return. You could have 5, 6, 7, 8 cars, or you could buy a house with that money. So the point is that try to get students to think long term. Okay, so what you're going to do is learn about compounding, the factors that make money compound in this scavenger hunt. So what you're going to do is we have 8 stations around the room. Okay. And you can start wherever. So I'm going to come to this station and it says a letter A. So I'm going to write A in the little circle at the top where you start. I'm going to do this question with my, you can use your phone, scan this, you'll get the compounding interest calculator. You're going to do this math, and then your answer, you have to find one of those 8 stations that has the answer, and that's where you're going to go next. So let's say I did this problem and the answer was $1 million. So I'd be at this station next, but there's some over here, and you're going to go through and do that. So you'll have this compounding interest calculator. So if you scan the QR code that's up here or on the questions, initial investment leave is 0. The monthly contribution you'll have, the time, and the interest rate. So you have these three things will be on the question sheet. It's super easy. You'll figure it out. And Brooke's going to be here to help you. And then interest rate variance, leave that blank, and then compound annually. All right, let's see who can be the first one to finish the 8 questions. And any questions, Brooke is right here. She'll help you.
Initial investment?
No, leave that blank. So yeah, initial investment is 0. Yep. Yes, and you're going to write the answer in the circle. And then you can do that now. And then you have to find the next. You can round to the nearest dollar as well, because it'll give you pennies. Yes, so, what was your answer? I did, right? 14,000. Let me, you started over here. Okay, let me, walk through that real quick. I think. So initial investment is 0. So we're going to do, 0. The contribution is 100 on 40 years, and estimated interest rate is 10. 531. That's okay. It's the first one. So. Yeah.
No.
Oh, the interest rate is
0 and I had 10%. It must.
Yeah, yeah. Okay.
Okay.
So then you find the 531, which is, yeah, you're welcome.
Because there is the backside to the page. And backside to the page. That's where
Oh, I heard Dave Ramsey. Uh-oh. Some people love him, some people hate him.
it's just that you take out 8% because you're gonna earn 12%.
Yeah, right.
Well, maybe it's more conservative.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. Adjust. Absolutely.
was confusing the first time.
Or like in our program, we can't do phone, like I work with adults, but it's prison stuff, well, jailing.
Right.
How can you adapt to this?
Do they have a laptop?
No, because in the prison system, you can't have any electronic.
Not
You could use a-
easily,
Compounding table, you could have a chart.
like maybe.
I would probably just lock them as a class and like type in the numbers, say.
Yeah, but the teachers can't have it.
Yeah, so for
Oh,
this particular activity, maybe not, but there's others that have the same scavenger hunt format that don't necessarily have a calculator attached to them, and so you could use those ones.
Or just thinking it makes it, like doing it together, I get what you're saying, but I also feel like it kind of takes away that competitive, like,
Right,
people being, and doing it themselves too.
Yeah.
But I just wondered if there was an adaptation because like, I know within several of our major school districts now, students cannot.
But you can have an
Right,
compounding
yeah, I
chart.
can't
So like the example with the, if you're investing 4,000 a year between 16 and 20, there are plenty of charts that are printed based on that, so you can adapt it to the chart for some. In some cases, you have a little bit of interest rate variation, but it's.
And I mean, we do calculators too, because for the GED, we make sure that they know how to use them, but I just wasn't sure, like.
Right.
It's been a while since I've tried to calculate on my own compound interest. and
Yes.
So.
No, that's good feedback, because at my school, we're not supposed to have phones either, but it's kind of at the discretion of the teacher, like if we
Oh,
did
no,
that activity
at
like
ours,
this.
if they don't
but
leave it
yeah.
in their locker, it is gone.
Correct,
I mean,
yeah.
like they've cracked down big time.
Right, yeah, and I used to work.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm all for
our teachers are super happy. I think it makes a lot. But then in my space, it's zero.
We had to reverse, not quite this activity, but just the concept of dumping. And so then they're gonna right there, they're gonna do a little bit of multiplying, 18 plus 9 plus 9. So then they have that 9 year doubling, and then when we double it to 10,000, that means 20,000, that like 4,000.
All right, those of you online, we're almost finished with this activity, and I promise we will be back with you. So thank you for the online people for joining us. And in the chat, I'll also put that. I guess we don't have a chat here, but again, that website for use online is teachers.fee.org. You can register for all of our free curriculum and see our personal finance course. Okay. Now, let's talk about some trends that you found in those questions. I changed, there were three variables that are important. It's the time that you invest, it's the amount you invest, and it's the interest rate, right? So I adjusted those three things. So the first question was 1,000 at 12% for 40 years is, wow, that's a lot of money, right? So 12% is like, that's pretty hard to get. That's been like, the average is 10, but you just change that a little bit over a lifetime, that little interest rate change can make a huge difference. Like going from 10 to 11% isn't just 1% more. It's an extra 1% compounded over 40 years. So the math is just not like, it's a huge difference. So let's say if you, man, I can't invest. I never, I can't see the stock market go down. Like it's been a bad year so far for the stock market, but there's been all kinds of bad things have happened in history, and the stock market eventually always has gone up over the long term, and it's always came back despite stock market crash 2008, 2001. Now we got tariffs that are causing stock market to go down. Okay. So you had almost $9 million less by getting 12% versus 1%. 200 at 10% for 40 years or 100 at 10% for 40 years. So just by increasing that contribution, going from an extra 100 a month, it's going to give you $500,000 more. 500 at 8% for 40 years or for 15 years. That fun happens at the end once you've been saving for a while, and if you give $1 million, 10% of that is 100,000. So 1.5 versus only 162,000. 200 at 10% for 50 or 1% for 50. Again, that's just not 9% more. It's like millions more. So that interest rate is really big. So you need, what are the three things again that you need to build compounding wealth? You need savings. I love to set it up on autopilot for my 401k. I say, this is how much I want out taken per year and per paycheck. And I'm invested automatically. The stock market went down the last couple of weeks. I'm buying at a cheaper price. So I'm gradually investing, called dollar cost averaging over time. So you need savings, you need interest, and you need time. And then you can play around with I like to play around with the compounding interest calculator and show them different values. Like let's say change your monthly contribution, change your length of time, and change that interest rate. So you can do all kinds of different variables with that. So I think I got to share my screen again. 1 second before we move on. Where did that go? Did I lose the Zoom again? Anyway, we'll wait, see if anyone makes a comment about that. Okay, one of the richest guys ever, Warren Buffett. He said, my wealth has come from a combination of living in America, some lucky genes, and compounding interest. So, I mean, he's got like billions today, but most of his money was just made because he invested for like his whole lifetime, and he's like in his 90s today. So you've got that huge increase in wealth because of it compounds later. Or I've just got to finish up this lesson with some charts. Investing 500 a month for the last 40 years resulted in 3 million, almost all from compounding growth. Skip that for now. And then the last one here, who will earn more? Investor one starts at 25, 5,000 a year for 10 years, stops investing at 35, but keeps the money invested, but stopped adding new money. Investor two starts at 35, says it's getting late. I'm saving 5,000 a year for 35 years or for 30 years. And who had more money? Was the person at age 65, 780,000. So just by starting early is such a huge thing for students. And I actually tell my high school students, like, your dollars are more valuable than mine. because I'm old. Like I don't have 90 years to invest the money. If you invest that money, it's got a lifetime to compound. And this is from the famous book Atomic Habits. If you just get 1% better every day, you'll end up 37 times better. So gradually just making a habit of saving a little, but over a lifetime. And like automatic contributions are a great way to do that, like through your job and just automatically do it, or automatic withdrawals from your bank account. And the last one, just showing me, the kids are always like, oh, Mr. Red, I don't have any money to invest. And I say, well, you walk in here every day with a $5, drink from Caribou or Starbucks, your $5, $6 coffee every day. So like, okay. Now, people need to enjoy themselves, and that not saying you can't ever have a coffee or anything, but just these daily habits. So if you just saved 150 a day, that's $45 a month. And if you earn 10% a year, you start when you're 17, $45 a month, you'd invest for 50 years and you'd have almost $1 million by age 67. Just by starting at age 17, that annual compounding at about 10%. And again, one reason it's hard to teach kids this because it's boring at first, right? It's like, oh, I put in $100 and I made 10% interest and you made $10, right? So the kids don't get too excited about that, but stick with it for the long term. And again, the fun happens at the end because you're earning 10% of like that bigger chunk of money. And lastly, the rule of 72 is just a simple math thing that tells you how long it takes something to double. So you just get your interest rate divided into 72, and that tells you how long it takes something to double. So here's some napkin economics again. Rule of 72, what is it? How much time to double your money? So if you earn 6% a year divided into 72, that would be 12. So your money's going to double in 12 years. So you finish up that lesson with some basic math about the compounding and rule of 72. Okay, so really quick, we talked about where are you going to get that 10% return, right? And banks aren't paying 10% interest. It's like savings account is maybe high yield is around 4% today. So if you buy what's known as the 500 biggest companies, anyone know what that's called? Like if you bought the 500 biggest companies in the US known as the like S&P 500. And you basically just, if you bought that and hold it called an index fund, you're buying just a basket of stocks that doesn't change. And instead of trying to pick the latest stocks, you just buy an S&P 500 fund. Do you know the pros that are constantly picking stocks? Most of them can't beat that over the long term. The professionals that are trying to pick stocks, only 8% beat just the average of the 500 biggest companies. So if you buy that, you're going to beat most professionals over the long term. Because buying and picking stocks is a very difficult game to beat. Of course, there's people that always do it, but so only 6% of investment pros beat the market over a 20-year period. And in the early 2020s. So my strategy is what I do in my personal life, and most experts recommend this for people. I buy and hold index funds, like the 500 biggest companies. It's easy for me. I don't have to worry about it. And the people that are constantly trading all the time, telling you what latest stocks to buy or, cryptocurrencies or whatever, I'm 100% sure my strategy will not beat every other strategy, but I'm also sure my strategy will beat 90% of the other people over the long term. And it's impossible to identify that 10% of winners in advance. Where can you buy these companies? I love Vanguard, Fidelity, Charles Schwab. Those are brokerages where you can take them and say, I want to buy the S&P 500 fund. And you almost pay no fees as well. So the expense ratio, you can see 0.04, 0.0. That's what you're paying in fees to this company to buy that stock for you. And I'll share these slides with people as well. I'll put it in the chat for the session. And I'll also put my card up. If you want to email me, I'll send you this slide deck. And this lesson is online as well on our teacher website. And here's a good lesson to say, like, what is the stock market? Like, what are you buying when you buy the 500 biggest companies? Here's a map, a visual of the 500 biggest companies. This is called website called FinViz, FINVIZ. So this shows like the bigger companies would have a bigger square, like Amazon, Microsoft, Apple. But there are 500 companies right here from different sectors like technology, services, healthcare, and so on. So this is the 1-year performance. And if we go one day, we'll see what it's doing today. It looked like the market was down today. Oh, it's actually not as bad. So like Microsoft is up 39.39% today. So it just tells you like you're buying a piece of America, and you're telling students when you buy this S&P 500, the 500 biggest companies, you're owning just a little slice of all these companies. You're basically betting on the world's biggest economy, which is the United States. Like Nvidia and so on. Then you can, see how it does like 1 month, 3 month, 1 year performance. And Tesla's up 58% 1 year, but it's been down a lot like the last month. Oh, it's only up one. Okay, not as bad as I thought. All right. Yeah, see, Brooke, I get started talking about investing. I could just talk forever, but I want to move on to some other activity. I'd love to talk about investing. So again, we'll share that lesson is found with you online. Brooke, you want to talk about this a little bit?
The Nearpod.
No, this is the investment in March Madness. Oh, the gambling one. Did you have something you wanted to- What's that? Okay, that's fine. Is there anything else?
I can say I did do a lesson on March Madness. So obviously the games are playing right now, and we have a whole lesson just on the economics of March Madness. We also have one on NIL deals. So right now I was watching, actually last night I was watching the McDonald's game with the top high school athletes. The number one actually is a high school student in Utah, and he's promised to BYU, and I think he's worth about $4.8 million just in NIL deals alone. And then he's also going to get some more money after that. As long as he doesn't get injured, probably NBA prone. But yeah, March Madness is a really fun one. The NIL deals is a really great one. Again, we've got both the presentation format and then also the Nearpod format.
Okay, so we get a lot of reports about young people and adults, gambling and don't understand the impacts of sports betting online. The 29 states have had this. So we've made some lessons comparing gambling to investing. And here's another activity you can do with your students. And this will be friendly for paper and pencil. So I know you had that. Brooke, would you mind passing those out? Okay, this is called an investment in March Madness. Now, since the Supreme Court ruling in 2018, online betting has become legal in 29 states. So we're going to compare gambling to investing, where the odds are in your favor if you invest for the long term. If you're gambling, the odds are not in your favor. And almost all people end up losing money over the long term. Most states require age verification, but these restrictions are difficult to enforce. Okay. And knowing the risks, parents concerned about risks of online gambling like debt, addiction, ruin your credit score, can cause all kinds of problems. And I mean, this is common sense, but they've actually quantified it now that said students and young people that are gambling, that's all good. Oh, yeah. Yeah, Southwest, that matters. You got to do it fast. Okay. Sports gambling takes a toll on Americans' checkbook. People that gamble are saving less for the future. Rising debt. Legalized betting is linked to higher credit card balances, worse credit scores, and financial instability. Young people face greater risk of gambling problems and delay saving and hurt financial security. And this is just right on your phones. I was a huge sports fan as a kid. I'm glad I wasn't around when I was a kid. I mean, who knows? If I wasn't mature enough to make those decisions, and students need to be educated about this. we'll skip that for now, but this lesson has a couple of videos you can show your students. This one is a pretty good GMA segment where they interview a student that had some gambling problems. We're going to run out of time, so I'm not going to show this, but you can also show this lesson on the evolution of a little history of March Madness. But what I want you to do is, first of all, you're going to receive a hypothetical $100, and you are going to each year from 2000 to 2025 or 24, and you're going to bet on each year. So you're going to bet $100 in 2000, Florida versus Michigan State. Now these are actual results, but don't look up the answers. Yep. See if you can guess. And then I'm going to show you the winners in a second. So you're going to circle, and then you would calculate whether you won 100 or lost 100 and calculate your total. So just take a minute and go through and see if you can circle the correct, see if you can pick the correct winner. All right, you guys got your bets in? Okay, I'm going to put up the winners. And so if you start with $100, so if you win, you're going to add plus 100, and then your total would be 200 because you're starting with $100, right? So total in pocket after the game, 200 or 0, and then you're going to add up the totals. Yeah, that's fine. I'll do this here real quick for you. So the winner in 2000, Michigan State. 2001 is Duke, Maryland, Syracuse, Connecticut, North Carolina, Florida, Kansas, North Carolina, Duke. So that's 2000 to 2010. Michigan State, Duke. I'm starting in 2000. 2000, Michigan State, Duke, Maryland, Syracuse, 2003, Connecticut, North Carolina, Florida in 2006 and 7, Kansas, North Carolina, and Duke. All right, next ones. You guys got that? 2011, Connecticut. 2012, Kentucky, Louisville, Connecticut, Duke, Nova, North Carolina, Villanova, Virginia. 2020 was canceled. And then the next one, 2021 was Baylor, 2022 Kansas, Connecticut, 23 and 24. Anyone have any questions on those? Want me to go? All right, so you're going to go ahead and calculate. Brooke will come around and answer any questions you might have. It's all good. How'd you guys do? Make a lot of money gambling? No. Okay. Jeez. Okay. How much money did you end up with? 400. Oh my.
A lot of anxiety with that one.
Yeah, right. Okay. So on the backside, you're going to see a question that says, now instead of gambling, you would invested. So let's say you invested this $25,000 in, or excuse me, you invest $100 in the S&P 500 index fund at the start of March Madness instead of betting. Do you know how much money you'd have after 25 years? 12,659. Anyone make more than that betting? Didn't think so. Okay. So if you had invested that money, you'd have $12,000 after 25 years. That's a good one. Option C, 12,659. And then like option A, don't bet the 100 you're given at March Madness, keep it in your safe at home. How much money would you have? You'd have less money in purchasing power if you just put $100 under your mattress, pull it out 25 years later. Were things cheaper 25 years ago? Yeah, a lot cheaper, right? And then there's just some more questions just to show the contrast between betting and investing. Now, imagine you're 25 years old. How much would option C be worth at various ages if you put the money into the stock market index fund and earn a 10% rate of return and you contribute? You go back to that investing calculator and then your age 25 and calculate when you plan to retire at 40, 50, 60, 10% return. And if you had invested that $12,000 at various ages, you can see the power of compounding interest with time, with savings, and you also need to earn interest. Those three things about compounding interest, once again, circling back to that. And then there's some other videos. There's some extension activities you can do, like the there's an article you can look at that talks about the different costs, psychological costs, emotional costs, the problems that gambling can lead to. So that's another lesson you can find on our website, investment in March Madness. Yes, there we go. All right. Last thing I want to just go through is that just want to remind you about these personal finance inquiry lessons that we have. We've created 8 of these. So it starts by asking a compelling question, has 3 supporting questions with lots of formative tasks that you can find on our financial freedom course, and has a summative and performance tasks, and they also take action. So like, well, should I buy a lease a vehicle? What would I buy a home? How do student loans impact your life? So again, you can get that on our website at teachers.fee.org. Like here's just some different, we don't have time to do this, but like, will I ever purchase a home? Kind of goes through some, you study home maps, look at mortgage rates, a lot of practical real world advice for this lesson. And like, this is this fun game. It's called Listed. So you actually go and you try to guess how much this house sold for. What do you guys think? I'm going to say 300,000.
update it every time you take a guess. So now we know it's in North Carolina.
Okay, so that was, gotta be higher, right? Or is that next? Next guess, so,
Yeah, so it's-
oh, I gotta go way up, so there's another picture, so let's go 400,000. Oh, that was too much. So there's some more pictures of the house, 6 guesses less, let's do 350. Gotta go down, 325. Go down, let's do 320. Oh, I'm on run, what, let's 315. Oh, there we go. 313. Got it in 7 guesses. So yeah, and the point of that is you're gonna have like, you may get a little house in some areas of like California and super like San Jose, it'll be like millions of dollars for like a little lot. So that's kind of a fun game you can play it. And then that lesson kind of walks through all kinds of different questions. How much money to make? Where do I choose? How does where you live, affect it, right? Because it's going to vary around the country. And how do mortgage interest rates affect your ability to get a loan? So yeah, we love those lessons too. We're getting great feedback on those. And again, if you do that FIT certification budget challenge, it's a really cool, engaging lessons. You can get this online simulation for you and your students for free for a year. It's pretty cool. And budget challenge is a real world finance lab for students. And students live for 10 weeks in an online financial ecosystem that simulates all the young decisions of an independent young adult. Is there any lessons I missed or anything you want to talk about? Or?
No, but what I do is we had another session the other day on AI, and that's kind of how I adapt things. So we don't have anything specifically for ELL, but that's what I'll do is I'll just take AI. And same with some of the other lessons, even if it's not, I'll take there's a Chrome extension called Brisk Teaching. Anybody use that? I love that one because I can go on an article, and I have that in some of the Nearpod lessons that I've been creating. I'll open an article or open a YouTube video and then click the Brisk icon, and then you can create a whole lesson just around a video or an article. Or you can create a rubric, which I hate creating rubrics as a teacher, so I love that it does that for me. Or they have a boost activity that I really enjoy where I click that, I choose the level of reading. So I'm in an alternative high school, and although I'm teaching 11th and 12th graders, I usually take it down to a 7th grade level, and that works for most of them. And you can do a check for understanding or an exit ticket on it, and it just walks through with the AI. So all of you would get, I put in the same prompt and the same learning objectives, but based on what you put in, it's going to give each and every one of you a different output. And my students have said that that really has helped their critical thinking a lot, and they feel like they're learning more.
Hey, you guys have been awesome. Thanks for sticking around. I know it's not easy on the last day of the conference after on a Wednesday afternoon. You guys stuck it out. So thank you so much. If you want me to email this slide deck and the lessons, it's right here, jred@fee.org. It's the world's shortest email. jred@fee. And my card's up here if you wanted that or anything you need. I'll email, just say slide deck in the title, and then that's it. And I will shoot that to you from the airport. Oh, speaking of the airport, I gotta go catch my flight. We got a couple minutes left. You want to stick around and look at any of the resources or ask questions, but otherwise, I know people need to get on their way. And again, thank you guys again for coming. It was really, really fun to talk about our lessons with you guys. And thanks for all you do. Hey, all right. Well, thank you. Love to hear that. Yes. Yep. Yep. Yeah, exactly. It shows that you're a mastery from a well recognized organization. We've been around since 1946. So we're not just like some startup. Like we've been, I mean, we have a huge followings on social media and like 13,000 teachers on our website. So yeah, it's not like a state licensure or something like that. So it's just something that shows your mastery that you put on a resume, send to your principal, your school board. Thank you. Can I have this guy? Yeah. Thank you. I don't have a copy here and I end up doing stuff. Are you keeping the magic things? Are you gonna throw those away or are you supposed to? I would love that with the laminated, because like I don't have a box to do this kind of stuff with it, so like. They don't give you a print. What? I mean, they're probably printing it, but just. Yeah. Awesome.
Yeah, sorry, thank you.
No, I'm so bad with that. I felt like I was not getting much. Good. Yeah. Cause I felt like I started to be like Joel here. Yeah, we'll let 6 online, then. No, I didn't. I gotta do that and log out here. I think we lost it online or something. I don't know what happened. Oh, there we go. Maybe I was on.